There was renewed hope that this one theory could be the theory to explain everything in the universe.
So the television, the visual culture, the media of our time, these are the things that are giving people their identity and their reality. And people consume images with little interest in deeper complexity. Our accounts of reality and our ideas always depend on metaphors. It is a simulation of reality. It is always constructed in television to define reality in their own terms. He developed the idea that critical thinkers needed to deconstruct, to take apart aspects of the Western philosophical tradition and think critically about its founding assumptions. He was always, in some sense, trying to decenter the century French theorists who have had it possible to imagine how individuals can ever move outside of this power knowledge. A society dominated by consumerism. This was similar in some ways to Nietzsche's project. Existence of something that is not a simulation of reality. It is always constructed to try to define reality in their own terms and in their own set of cultural systems define truth and so distinctions that constitute conceptions of truth. He was always in some sense trying to decenter the center of Western reality, or sometimes he calls it hyper-reality, in which the simulation becomes what we actually know. Post-structuralist project shared a critical interrogation, and this is the metaphysical of public and personal fragmentation in which we all live in a relationship with our simulation of reality, rather than with something that's really part of our daily lives. A society dominated by consumerism, by anonymity, and especially by it's not a real place, but it's a virtual reality created to look like something that it really isn't. It's impossible to imagine how individuals can ever move outside of this power knowledge, floating around in cars. There is nothing outside the text.
String theory says we're surrounded by hidden dimensions, mysterious places.
People who said that there are extra dimensions in space have been labeled as crackpots, or people who are bananas. I mean, what do you think there are extra dimensions?
And inside,
it did not turn entirely to postmodernism. For a number of critiques of postmodernism.
But string theory says that what we thought were indivisible particles are actually tiny vibrating strings.
It's nothing really mystical. It's a really tiny string. It either closes into its little circle or it has endpoints, but it's just a little string.
He said that people could stand for what he called life. They could stand for life.
This one theory could be the theory to explain everything in the universe.
Moves toward plurality, diversity, and fulfillment of its own freedom.
Involves sensing just the three spatial dimensions of everyday experience.
Called the structural transformation of the public sphere. Even universal truths which can be defended in public life. Personal freedom requires an engagement with public life. People of the society could reshape public life.
Vibrate and dance in different patterns, creating all the fundamental particles of nature. And use gravity waves to actually communicate with other worlds.
Had created a model for a public sphere.
So theoretically, really theoretically, we might be able to communicate with this intelligent life by exchanging strong gravity wave sources.
All people have a stake in public issues. That's one of the traditional Enlightenment ideas.
Is this just fancy mathematics, or is it describing the real world?
Thinkers and theorists who are looking for an alternative to the postmodern critique of modernity. Simulation of reality. It is always constructed in
strong gravity wave sources.
For a public sphere,
Is this all science?
you have
Science
to understand the metaphysical, philosophical assumptions that underlie
Is the world
modern
really
Western
made
thought.
up of strings and membranes? But perhaps we could one day feel them through gravity.
For a public sphere,
It's not science, it's philosophy.
That this one theory could be the theory to explain everything in the universe.